So I meant to end it off as being represented as a legal person. Listen, AJ, critical, you guys, right? Don't be trying to teach people something you know nothing about. So, well, I'm a man. Yeah, sure you are. And I'm sure you work hard for a living, and I'm sure you feed your family, and I'm sure you're fucking stand-up. But that's not all there is to being that of mankind. That is not. And I have to say mankind, because whether you're feminine or masculine, we are all of mankind. Whether you identify as something in between, we are still all of mankind. Now your person may be LGBTQXYZ, right? Your person may be a heavy equipment operator. Your person may be a fucking oil worker. Your person may be a two-faced, backstabbing, rotten piece of shit politician. Because I'm not seeing anything else in the political field but that. Sellouts. Sellouts. You know? But like, you are no different than a copper. You are no different than a fucking organized motorcycle biker. You're no different than a fucking Indian. You're no different than, you know, anyone else. Every one of us are fucking mankind. Now you're talking about jurisdiction. You're talking about admiralty law, right? You're talking about maritime law, you know? You're talking about, what about statutes and staples? What about family law? What about equity law? Right? Like, you guys, you have to take a look at the venue of the court you're at. All right? Jurisdiction is just, okay, how does the jurisdiction, how do I fit into this jurisdiction? Well, you got a birth certificate, don't you? What does that got to do with anything? You see, everybody's been tricked into that person. These guys did touch, you know, Critical and AJ did touch on the birth. The birth certificate is not something to be scared of. It's a benefit. It's a benefit given to every man and woman on this land. Now, Canada basically is a trust company. They operate in trust. They operate our natural resources in trust. And I say Canada because when there are no sovereign provinces, there are no fucking provinces, there's only enactments. There's only these acts. Alberta Act, BC Act. They're just, it's just an act by the parent corporation, Canada, which is an act, right? The British North American Act, which comes from the inner city of London, the Crown Corporation, right? No sovereignty anywhere, it's an act. So think of Canada as a trust company, okay? So think of every man and woman as the beneficiary of the land. Every man and woman. Every man and woman, right? And then think, okay, so we got this trust company, okay, so we're going to operate in trust of mankind, of this land, right? So our first objective here is, now we are a corporation, but we're acting in trust. So our first operation of duty here is to protect property. Okay, that's number one. Our second course of operations is to make money, because we got to make money, but we're not allowed to do any harm, loss, or injury to any man or woman. All right, so if any, as a beneficiary, let's allow those are, you know, the benefactors to operate within the corporation, within the trust. Okay, let's do that. Now, over time, what's gone on is we've lost the thought that a man, you know, those of mankind have standing, and now we've just, you know, we've been dumbed down so far that everybody's just a person. And I believe the fear of the birth certificate, the fear, because that's what I see. I see when these guys talk about it, even with AJ and Critical last night, you know, it was like a fear of the fucking birth certificate, a fear of the person. these guys, it's just a benefit. Now you can use it as you wish or not use it as you wish. You can use it to enter and operate as a trustee if you wish for certain benefits that trustees do receive. Like say Trudeau, okay? He acts as a trustee as Prime Minister, right? So he's a trustee of the corporate body politic. And he doesn't harm any man or woman. He does cause harm through bad politics to farmers. He causes harm to veterans. He causes harm to white male straight men or straight man. And he does cause harm to a traditional family. But the only problem is, you see, no man or woman is coming up and saying, hey, whoa, hey buddy, you're causing me harm. We're coming up and we're saying, complain. You know, I have this right and I have that right, and the Constitution says this and the Constitution says that and the Bill of Rights says this. And, well, no, none of that shit says anything. I mean, it all reads, it's all in second dimension. But when this is why I like to press upon people to write letters. You know, has anybody written Trudeau a letter saying, hey, look, Justin, you know, I realize you got certain duties, obligations, and responsibilities when you act as this Prime Minister, but the only problem is the thing you're pushing is causing harm to I and my family. You know, those, you know, and sign it off as your fellow man, you know, your fellow woman, right? Does anybody do that? No, because these guys think it's a fucking joke. But yeah, and then I listen to these guys go, oh yeah, don't cross the bar. Don't cross the bar, yeah, blah blah, Admiralty Court, and da 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 da. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? You know, it's like those Montana freemen, or sovereignist freemen. You know, they were at court, they were fighting on that whole sovereign thing that AJ and you know, Freeman shit that the AJ and Critical were talking about last night, and they were just pissing off the judge, right? And I don't know if it was a justice or just a judge or what, but those are different offices. But so the man gets up, takes off his black robe, dumps that gold fringe flag, walks outside the bar, sits down, and says, okay, now convince me. Explain this to me. Well, they couldn't. And this is where, and they all actually, well, they were defrauding the people. They were defrauding the government. They were defrauding, you know, they figured a legal loophole to get free money using their farm status and stuff, and it was just wrong. It was just wrong. It was, you know, it was just fraud. Don't be scared of fiat currency. Everybody, it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years, fiat currency. Okay, the note system itself, it's been going on, that I know of, for, say, 1,500 years. Right? It all failed once before, on Friday the 13th. That's why the legal society, the establishment, doesn't like Friday the 13th. It was a bad day for those guys. Not a bad day for the people, really. And it actually opened the door for the Renaissance period. And I've talked about this shit. You know, guys, don't turn around and start coaching people to fuck a man up when when you don't even know yourself who you are as a man or a woman. You better check into it. This is why I respect Doug Force very much. Doug Force put his time in, you know, and he understands the legal society and how it works pertaining to this part of the continent that we're at. And these guys, you know, you don't even know what venue the court holds. You talk about certain jurisdictions. Yeah, who cares if it's admiralty jurisdiction? What does it have to do with I? Right? And a man can go and appear at court as a man, naked as a jaybird, and say, who says? And that's what it comes down to, because it's a common law land. You only have to answer to your accuser. Who's your accuser? Well, it's officer such and such. Well, hang on a second. Well, who's the witness? Because they better have an independent, verifiable fucking witness to prove your claim. Otherwise, it's just circumstantial. Well, the officer's a witness. Oh, so the officer is swearing out the complaint and he's a witness? Hang on a second here. What does he have to do with me? Well, you're driving 50 in a 30, or he told you to clean up your fucking yard, or whatever. Hang on a second. What does that have to do with I? And what right does he have to interfere in my private domestic jurisdiction, which is a total legal statement? But what does he have to do with my privacy? What does he have to do with my property? Who is he to tell me how to run my property? And then they can say it's cleaning up your yard. And the copper says, well, by law, da 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 da. Was that the corporation? Well, this is property. This is mine. Right? This is where lawful excuse comes in. If you were to put your property in trust, right? The proper trust, guys. Not just trust, but say your property is in trust, and you send lands and titles and say, hey, take this off the public store because it's in trust. Right? You can't have it in your trust when it's already in my trust. I'm the one who has authority over this property. Take it off the fucking public record. Take it out of the public store. Every piece of property everybody registers goes to the public store. Then the government fucking borrows money on it and says, look what we have. These are all our trustees. These are all our employees. Look what we have. This is what we're worth. Lend us money. The thing with the schools and that, whoa, I've seen some disturbing stuff with that shit. Personally, okay, all right. So here we are, a totally separated people. We're totally separated. No two neighbors can get along anymore. In the old days, we used to throw potlucks to raise money for our local police force right here on this land, the Great White fucking North. We'd actually throw and we'd raise money for our fire department and yeah, everybody get pissed and fucking have a hoedown, and that's how it was done back in the day. Okay, so now, hey, there's more people in the vehicles, a little more of this and that, okay, I get that. And we need public laws for the safety of the public. I mean, that is the government's duty. But at the same time, reasoning away that which is lawful, to outlaw those lawful acts of a man or a woman under a legal premise, no, that doesn't stand when you have a man in court, and you guys don't understand that. And you're talking to, well, you're listening to, well, maybe you're not fucking listening to me, but who cares? I'm putting it out there. I've been to court more than once as man, and I certainly wasn't arguing the fucking person. I certainly wasn't arguing fucking jurisdiction. But I was there looking for, look, obviously there's a man or woman that says I've done wrong. So I went there and say, who says? Who says? Well, you are charged with. Well, who's liable for the charges you wish to put upon I, your fellow man? What's the guy in the black robe going to yell at you and say you're not my fellow man? Well, hang on a second. You're not fucking a man? You're not a mankind? Your mother didn't bore a man or a man child or a woman child? From this land, off this land, from this earth? What are you, a fucking Martian? Right? This is the common law status. And common law is the highest law. Okay? Common law. Look at go do some research. Go do some research. It's the law of the people. The customs of the people are the fucking law. So, okay, maybe now the government figures, well, nobody knows who they are anymore, and they all believe that they're these fucking created persons and trustees of the trust company that we call Canada. Maybe they're thinking that we're so far fucking gone, dumbed down, and fucked up that we don't even know who we are anymore. So now they just blatantly go, woo. You know, if a man shows up or a woman shows up, we got to make sure they're protected. So, you know, so our citizens, our people, our trustees, our officers of the corporate body here, oh yeah, they can't be doing this and they can't be doing that and they can't be doing this and they can't be doing that. Now those officers, those trustees, those legal persons of the establishment have no right to property. All right, they are given certain benefits and so on and so forth for fulfilling an obligation. So if I act as the president of a bank, I'm given certain benefits. I get the company jet and a good paycheck and this, but I have to fulfill the mandate of that office. And if I break the mandate of that office, I can be hauled up on the carpet and shut down and lose my position, lose my title. Well, who grants the title, you see? So if Canada grants you the title of person, of citizen, of driver, of farmer, of oil worker, of trucker, you know, then Canada can take it away. But Canada doesn't grant any man or woman who wishes to forage and access their natural resources that belong to every man and woman of this land. They have no fucking right. But nobody stands as man. And so, like, you know, I appreciate the fact that Critical and AJ, you know, are getting a clue about, you know, Admiralty law, maritime, you know, and all the other fucking jurisdictions that go in. But ask yourself, you know, what is venue, you know? And ask yourself, okay, who does this apply to? Who do these laws and jurisdictions apply to? And don't forget that man or woman in the black robe, depending on which office they hold. So there's a difference between a JP, a magistrate, a justice. I mean, these are all different offices that a man or a woman holds. And so they can only see certain things. Like, you know, like the lesser courts, like that tribunal, those kangaroo tribunals, they can only see that which pertains to the legislation of their human rights enactments, their human rights, what they see as human rights, you know, their actors as human rights. Okay, but what does that have to do with I as a man, right? The Constitution didn't give me freedom of expression. I already have that. That's you guys are just reflecting what I already have. Okay, I'm glad that you're, you know, I'm glad that your persons, your legal persons, are recognized to have that as well. I guess there must be limitations to your legal persons having the freedom of press and freedom of expressions, but there's no limitation to a man or a woman to express themselves unless they actually cause harm, loss, or injury to their fellow man. So my first question, well, is where's the bill? Okay, well, no, that's my second question. First question is, okay, so who assumes the liability for the charges you wish to put upon I, your fellow man? Right? Well, there is no man or woman. Well, what the fuck am I doing here? Well, no, I wasn't operating as that person. You say, is there a man or a woman that says, that will say in open court under oath or affirmation that I was operating as that person? Because I don't remember operating as that person. They're going to prove it. Where is this man or woman that accuses me of such a thing? Where is my accuser? I wish to cross-examine. Well, it's the state. Well, where's Mr. and Mrs. State? Well, that's the Crown. Well, where's Mr. and Mrs. Crown? I don't give a fuck what you call them. I have a right on a common law land to face my accuser. I have a right at some time during your kangaroo court or your kangaroo, I was applying that one right to the those fucking human rights tribunal idiots. But I have a right to face my accuser and to cross-examine my accuser somewhere down the road here. And why don't you guys give me a call when he shows up, or she shows up? And this is why I always hold the man or woman acting as a prosecutor, I hold them accountable. And this is why I always point at that man or woman acting as the fucking prosecutor when I talk to the man or woman that sits in the robe. Because that is the high priest. That man or woman is the one qualified to have a foot in the third dimension and the second dimension. That's your interpreter. So I look at them and talk to them. Hey guys, you come out spilling this stupid shit. It's not stupid shit, but you guys just come out, you know, half narrating. Like, I actually know something and I get mad when I half narrate shit. You know, and then I have one of my mentors, okay, you know, saying, hey Al, you know, want me to help you tighten that up? It's like, fuck, you know, and, you know, no, I'm good enough. But here's the thing. Don't be spieling off your garbage and setting people up so they start looking up some of this old shit. I mean, this is why I respect Doug Force. He's not engaging the establishment. What he's doing is he's teaching people about the establishment. Here's how it started. Here's how it's constructed. Here's how it's made. If somebody actually did wish to be Alberta, to actually have a sovereign province, actually have a real actually have a province, like in reality, with metes and bounds of the land, this is what the province needs to do. And I really don't see any of that shit happening because of the loss of the community of this nation. The communities of this nation, like, neighbors don't talk to neighbors. What we all do is we all rely on the fucking government, and we all cry, you know, what's the government doing about this? Well, guess this is why we are where we're at, because of this attitude that we've had. It's our fault. I mean, back when I was younger, you know, we'd have block parties. So we'd send to all the neighbors, hey, that we're going to have a block party, right? Nice friendly block party. And, you know, kind of a potluck, bring some food or whatever. We'll have a band on somebody's front yard. And we'd cordon off the block. And we'd invite everybody, though. We'd do like a 4-block radius. You're all invited. Come on, we're having a block party over here on this street. And the cops didn't come in and bother us because the neighborhood was having a party. It's our fucking neighborhood. We have a right to have a block party, so we did. There was none of this thing of, you know, back in the day about, you know, well, liability. You know, we were just neighbors. We got together and the street was cordoned off. So now it was private. Everybody was welcome because we're all part of the fucking neighborhood. And have a beer and listen to music and talk to your neighbors and do some barbecue. We did this in the 70s. You poor fucking, yeah, I know, I'm an old fucking biker boomer, right? But you poor fuckers, you can't even play street hockey anymore. That's the other thing that fucking blows me away. Okay? They say, well, there's so many more cars on the road. Yeah, well, ours were much bigger and didn't stop near as quick. I think you're a lot fucking safer now. So yeah, you know, just listening to AJ and Critical last night, just fuck, these guys had me going. They had me going hard. We've lost the sense of who we are. I honestly just don't see us ever getting a sense of who, you know, who we are as a nation. I think we're too far gone. I think it's about to be fractured and set into an unelected body under some kind of fucking civil law. I really do. I really think that until we can get together, like I say, the perfect way and the hardest way and the perfect way would be to go from town to town to town community to community within Alberta, and I would start with the rural. Every community having basically a gathering and talk about, you know, if we were to have a constitution, if we were to institute ourselves as a sovereign province, what do you guys think that we need in a constitution? And basically, who's ever holding the meetings, taking the notes from the people, taking the concerns from the people, and then at the same time explaining to people, like you're not a fucking Indian, you're a man. Okay, you have an Indian, but you're still that of mankind, first and foremost. Your mother ate of this land and bore a man-child, all right? You're not a fucking immigrant. You're a fucking man. You're of mankind. You're not a farmer. You're a man. You're not a fucking oil worker. You're a fucking man, right? And until we understand who we are as mankind, and that only man has standing, and all these legal persons, all these entitled persons, all these trustees, right? They can only maintain the position within the construct of the mandate of their office. So when you hold the office as a legal person through your birth certificate, you are under certain obligations, responsibilities, and duties, and therefore you also receive the benefit of acting as that legal person. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not saying that that's just the way it is. And so I've seen guys in the past, you know, 10 years ago, I think, about approximately, you know, people were giving up their citizenship and they're denouncing the Queen and giving up their social insurance number. Yeah, that's fine, you know. But now they're nothing. Now they're stranded. They're on a fucking desert island. There's nothing they can fucking really do, you know. If a guy was to have a private trust, a Massachusetts trust, a fucking common law trust, a family trust, and you were to put your person into your trust, and then use your person to open up a business trust and get an EIN number, and then you were operating commerce through the trust, right? For the benefit of, say you had a family trust and you did that, okay, for the benefit of your family. Then there's nothing wrong with that either, right? But then you're not liable for the fucking person anymore, are you? Because the person's in trust. And the only time any man or woman is liable, and this is what's lawful, is if you cause harm, loss, or injury. So say I hurt your feelings because I called you a fucking white Nazi supremacist, and you took me to human rights court, right? I'm just going to say who says. Well, he says. So is there a verifiable fucking independent witness here? Oh, so you're saying he said, she said. You know? I mean, actually, I wouldn't do all that. I would challenge the court right away. You know? But I mean, getting into that, and I would challenge my questions. You see, that was the other thing that made me angry last night with these guys is, you know, you're going in, I'm going in, well, this is Admiralty, and this is that, and I'm not that, and you have no jurisdiction. You know, you can't, no, that's, first off, it's not honorable. And a man or woman, those of mankind, are very honorable. And, no, it's, you know, you need to ask the questions. Because if you have direct statements, obviously you are a legal person. Obviously you're competent to fucking partake in their court. Obviously you're not a man or a woman. You know too much about their shit. Obviously you're making direct statements. But when you go into or within a public building and you appear at a court, the first thing is like, well, who, what, when, where, and why? Do they still teach kids these questions? You know, these critical questions, critical thinker? Do they still teach it? Like, who, what, when, where, and why? Is that not critical thinking? So, like, who says? That's the first question. Who says? You know, okay. So what's the damages? You know, when did the damages happen? You know, where was this alleged incident that the damages did happen? And, oops, I think my boot's burning. Oh, fuck. I'm a little close to the heater. So like, and that's how a man approaches a court, and that's how a man appears at a court. Okay, you don't go into court and you don't